But there is intermittent fasting does come with a warning. And that means, because if you stop eating for even 20 hours, that doesn't mean when you're eating, you can eat whatever you want, whenever you want, outside of your fasting period. So many people gain weight with intermittent regimen. So you do have to be cautious about your eating habits in this kind of protocol. This is more of a lifestyle, prevention style fasting. After 48 hours, your miracle doubles up, it multiplies. Your stem cell production starts. Imagine that. You can go to very expensive clinics and ask for stem cell transplant. Very expensive, and chances are that it's worth very little right now. But you can make your own stem cells to regenerate your body. And mitochondrial activity begins. We know that mitochondria is our energy center. And that's how you get all the energy. And if you fast for a couple of days, you will notice that even though you didn't eat for 3-4 days, you have more energy. You need less sleep. It's unbelievable. So mitochondrial activity goes up. Stem cell production. On the other hand, cancer and tumor going down. And why is that? It is because we're not eating semi-fat carbohydrates. And these cells, they love sugar. But we don't use sugar anymore. We use our fat as energy resource. So that, let's talk about the 36 and 60 hour. These are my favorite. If you want to lose weight, these are your best friends. It's long enough that you will see the effect on the scale. I love 36 hours because basically you finish one evening after dinner, you start fasting, you sleep, right? You sleep through the night. Then you have one day when you're not eating and go to bed early, and you wake up next morning and you can eat again. 36-hour fast is done. And you have all the benefits I just told you about. 60-hour is my favorite. If you want to push and you're really going for some weight loss and some healing, that it's the same. You have 3 nights and between 2 days. So it's not that complicated. Anybody can do it, almost anybody. We should never tell young children to fast in any circumstance. So prolonged fasting, 36, 48, 60 hours, 3 to 4 days, anybody can do it. After 5 days, my suggestion would be that you should get professional help who will set you and check your glucose and all the body function, make sure that you are healthy. But anybody wondering, I'm talking about 36 hours, 60 hours, 5 days, 5+ days. Where is the upper limit? Any idea? How far can we go? 2 weeks? 7 days? Yeah. How about a month? Why don't we ask this gentleman? He fasted 382 days. Of course, he had plenty of fat to lose. I wouldn't be able to fast for 380 days, and none of you, as I looked at you earlier. But if you have enough stored energy around this area, then you can go. This is the world record, 382 days. Just imagine them going over a year without eating. And he lost 276 pounds. Unbelievable. But the human body can do. But let's give you, since you are kind of a geeks here, so you won't be afraid for a few numbers, right? So just let you give you the 1 pound, which is 0.45 kilogram of fat, it's about 3,500 calories. Now, for a small person like myself, that is enough for 2 days. And I tell you, just between us, I have more than 1 pound of fat. So I can go for a fasting for 10 days. Probably I could go for 20 even. I have enough storage. So when people tell you that, oh, if I'm not eating after 5-6 hours, I'm just shaking and I need food because I'm sick, I have no energy. That is just not true. All of us have plenty of stored energy all over. Those people who cannot go without food because they are addicted to food and they have withdrawal symptoms. But everybody, most everyone, have plenty of energy. Just think about it. So I wonder if I convinced you to at least try some fasting. Anybody? Would you at least consider some fasting? But if you decide to do some fasting, how would you start it? Well, just imagine it. It is so easy. You just have to stop eating. Can you have anything simpler? Now, if you're planning to do a prolonged fast, I might suggest that a day or two before you stop eating carbohydrate. That just makes the transition easier over to use fat. But it's not necessary. And if you just intermittent fast, there is no getting ready, nothing. No shopping list, no cooking, no shopping, no cleanup. And you just have all the time you can spend with your families. Now, when we fast, what can we consume? What can we eat? Well, obviously, we are fasting, so no food. That's not an argument. Everybody understands that, no food. But what can we drink? Well, water. And if you think water sounds way too boring, well, you can put a bit of lemon in there and maybe a pinch of sea salt. And that can help you even with the changeover, the withdrawal symptoms with some salt. And coffee. You can have your coffee and tea if you like them and want them, but no sugar, no milk, no cream, and definitely no butter. If you want coffee, you have to drink it black. If you want tea, you have to drink it empty. And please, no sweetener. Don't lie to your body that it will get something delicious. The other big debate, should we or shouldn't we exercise? Anybody exercise? No exercise? But it is a definite yes for exercise. Now, for intermittent fasting, it should not even have a problem with your exercise regimen. And I know all of you have an exercise regimen, right? So you can start your intermittent fasting, no problem whatsoever. If you are doing prolonged fasting, you still have to, it's not you should, you have to exercise. But you go easy, not fast run, just do some jogging and do some resistance exercise, but go easy on you, but you have to move your muscle. That is a message to your body that, hey, when you are disassemble cells inside my body, leave my muscle cells alone. I need them. You disassemble other stuff. And that's just, you know, a use it or lose it principle. Exercise is a must. So, big question, how to stop fasting? Well, it's almost as easy as starting the fast. You just start eating. It sounds good, right? And yes, up to 3 or 4 days, you just start eating again. Of course, you have to use some common sense. You cannot have a big meal all of a sudden, though you're not going to hurt yourself much, but you will have discomfort. Remember, your gut lining is healing and sleeping right now. So don't wake it up all of a sudden with a big meal. Just little small meals every few hours, and then you can go back. Now, after 5 days, it's a whole different thing. You do have to have a refeeding schedule. And that's why I always suggest that after 5 days of fast, you should have professional help, at least the first time, until you understand what it takes to stop eating and then restart eating. So refeeding, you have to start with simple juices. And I'm not talking about apple juice from the store. I'm talking about vegetable juice, which you preferably make at home, or some stores do sell quality juices, or very light vegetable soup and easy digestible protein, such as eggs. So when you restart your eating, that's how you do it. And the rule of thumb, restarting, is as long as your fast was after a week, as many days you need to build up your stomach and your body to be able to accept your usual food, whatever is that. So I hope that I did give you something to think about, and at least some of you will try fasting. And good luck to you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, TM Mariana, for inspiring us all. And I would like to hand over this charge to DTM Tala for question and answer session. Sir, over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mariana. Somehow you delivered some of the most depressing news that we have ever seen, and some of the toughest advice we've ever received in such a manner that, trust me, you have most of us convinced, and we can judge that by the questions that are coming. So everyone, we have a 5-minute Q&A. Mr. Timer put 5 minutes on the clock, and we already have a question. And that question is has been shared by 2 people. And that is Toastmaster Imran Rana and Toastmaster Grinal. What is your suggestion for diabetics patients for this fasting plan?
Actually, yes, diabetic patient, we have a doctor in Toronto who almost always treating diabetic patient with fasting. But this is the case when you have to go to a professional, because if you are on medication, and that goes for any medication, because you're not eating for days, you have to watch out because you may or may not be able to take your medication. And especially with diabetes, you can do it, but you very closely have to monitor your glucose and insulin level and adjust your medication. But this is the best way, because the medical community manages 2 ways diabetes. It gives you insulin, and then you have to eat more, and give you more insulin, and you have to eat more. Now, doing it with fasting, you eat less, we take down the insulin. Eat less, we take down And within a month or two, you can make diabetes disappear, even 10, 20 years long diabetes. So it is a perfect solution, but you do have to do it step by step, very carefully, preferably with a professional help.
Thank you so much. I believe that was clear. Both the questioners, I believe you are clear on that now. So anyone else? Any more questions? Yes, Toastmaster Zara and DTM Saf. So first Toastmaster Zara and then DTM Saf.
DTM Tala, I'm typing it actually. So you can take the question from DTM sir.
All right. DTM Saf, sir, please go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much, DTM Tala, and in particular Toastmaster Marina. And let me share one thing with you that we are Muslim. We having a 1 month is a fasting month.
Yes.
And that's depending on the time zone, the sunrise and moon appears. And it is not a fixed time every day. It's a variation is there for 1 to 2 minutes, depending on the time zone we are and depending on the weather condition, the season, the summer and the winter season. So we have a fasting, complete fasting, without taking anything in between. And that lasts from 12 hours to somehow is some year it is about 18 hours. So we're not taking any things in between. And once we are breaking the fast, we are taking the food. And we start taking the food without counting it, without quantifying the food level, but we start eating. And during this time, when we are doing the spiritually the fasting one, is it affecting our hormones or our body?
Well, first of all, it is a very good religious tradition, and most religious tradition has a tradition with most religion has a tradition with fasting one way or the other. And I am aware of yours. No, but as far as I know, even in your religion, pregnant women and small children don't have to do the fast because they can be affected negatively. Anybody else, a healthy body can deal with it, because what you're describing, that's an intermittent fasting. It should not have, a healthy body should not have a reaction, any hormonal reaction to it. Is
Thank you so much.
acceptable, or you would like more elaboration?
If you have the more elaboration, that will be wonderful.
Well, you know, it's different for everyone. Our hormone system is very individual. So we cannot really go into that. But the short answer is, no, it should not affect your hormones. And I am quite sure that no religion will set up a system which hurt its members. So no, it should not. And I don't think so. Unless you have a condition, and then it's not the fast the reason. Intermittent fasting is just really time restriction. It doesn't affect your hormones.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, DTM staff, and then thank you, Mariana. We have one more question. I'm already doing intermittent fasting in 16-age window. It's been 2 weeks now. There's a noticeable change in the way I look, and my colleagues are saying, well, what are you doing? But there on the weighing scale, there's no difference. I've lost kg in the beginning, but now it's the same as it was. What should I do now?
Well, if it's not working for you, you have to push it and you have to do more. And as I mentioned in my speech, intermittent fasting, you have to be careful because people eat too much on the eating time. And you might have to cut back what you eat on your eating period. Or my suggestion would be you should do a day or two pure fasting I would suggest like once a week, a day fast, a full 24-hour fast. Or my favorite, a 36, because that's just adding the extra night sleep to it, which makes sense. And you will see, even that you will see slow improvement, but you will see it if you do it regularly. But intermittent fasting is more of a prevention. It's not gonna give you weight loss unless when you're eating, you kind of counting your calories and make sure that it is under, in your case, probably 2000 calories. And then you will lose weight even with intermittent fasting. But otherwise, if you don't count calories, just eat, you may maintain your weight, but not gonna lose weight. And that's just a difference between intermittent and prolonged fasting. Prolonged fasting gives your body the break it needs to get over. And sometimes even a day or two doesn't work at first. You have to do it either for a couple of months, let's say twice a week, or you have to put in a 3-day fast once in a while, because you just have to push your body and get used to that idea that no food, so let's just burn whatever I have here. You have to do
Thank you
that.
so much. So now we are out of Q&A time, and it is time to move on to the evaluation. DTM Saab, you now have to wear the evaluator's cap, and I will wear the timer's cap in the meanwhile. So over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mariana, for that amazing and I would say an eye-opening presentation on a weekend morning. So we could all have choose that to actually open our eyes and see what we can do better. And
Thank you.
coming on to your speech, the best thing I liked about your speech was your camera setting. It was right up there, and the background was plain, so it allowed you to perfectly display the background and also to deliver the content, and someone in this meeting can surely learn from the way you did it. And moving on, your speech had numbers, had stats, had facts, which had the audience eyes on each and every part of the keynote, that yes, this is happening, these are numbers, these are facts, we need to do something about it. You could have just said some random numbers, and we would have all actually believed it, but you also had the links and the sources to it. And the last thing was you incorporated the audience. You asked them questions. You did not wait for an answer, because that could have gone on longer, but you got the answer via chat, which was an idea that the audience were attentive. Just some points to work upon. Your background had too much text in it and too much words and too much wordy it was. So maybe just you could have had had some had some visual pictures and graphs and charts to make the numbers more 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 visually appealing or understandable. Number two was at odd times your voice was a bit low. So many so so on odd occasion I could not and not get some words you spoke. So maybe that's an that that's an problem with my net, or your mic was not close enough. So you can look into that, but overall, like I said, your your keynote was an eye opener for almost all of us in the meeting, and I wish you best of luck for your DTM journey. Over to you,
Thank you.
Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, DTM Saad. Now we will be moving to our prepared speech session. So the first speaker for today is DTM Sudarshan, and and his lead evaluator is DTM Saif Ali Sheikh. So for the project details, over to you, sir. DTM Saif.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Zara, and Toastmaster Sudarshan is doing his practice speech, what I believe it, that he is participating in a contest. And he's practicing his contest speech over here. And I request my team over here is a visuals one is a DTM Talha, and the auditory is a DTM Zahra. Perceptibles is a DTM Umar, and the structure one is a Toastmaster Khurram. Since he is attempting the contest speech, and the contest speech comprises of the three things, is a content, delivery, and the language one. So I will request all of the team members to focus on the judging criteria where he can improve himself for his participation in the contest level of the club, area, division, and district, and ultimately to the international level. Over to Toastmaster Zahra.
All right, thank you very much. So DTM Sudarshan speech title is Hey Brown Indian. Hey Brown Indian, Toastmaster Sudarshan. Over to you, sir.
Hello? Hello? Hey, you brown Indian. Do you think you are a tour guide? Why are you talking on the phone? This is not India. Do you remember that? Learn to behave properly. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, this was me circa 2017 in a cafe in Warsaw. I was sitting on a chair waiting to sip that warm coffee, and this man walks up to me and screams what sounds like a racial abuse, what sounds extremely insulting. Can you imagine at 9 a.m. in the morning, 15 people turning around to look at who is this person being yelled at? And why am I being yelled at? Because my phone rang and I picked it up to answer. Brown Indian guy. That was what I was addressed as. And it shook me to the core of my being. I was at the same time livid and yet afraid. Here I was in a foreign land, in front of people that don't speak the language that I speak. people that are probably built much bigger than me, and I knew I couldn't do much. But at that instant, something told me, don't react. Just don't react. Go get back to your coffee, take a sip, and then communicate. And that's exactly what I did. I took a long sip of my coffee, turned around, smiled at that guy, and said, yes, I'm a brown Indian guy. Is there a problem? That guy didn't know what to say. He had expected me to explode. He had expected me to abuse. He had expected me to react. And I took away that opportunity. Suddenly, the tables had turned. He was there staring at me, not knowing what to say next. And now, the rest of the crowd, which had observed me and observed him, also figured there is some change to the dynamic. And at that instant, one lady from the far corner of the restaurant started laughing. And she started laughing very loudly. Listening to her laughter, a bunch of others started laughing. And this man didn't know what to do. He just walked out of the restaurant. I very hurriedly left €2 on the table, left the restaurant, went looking for this man. I saw him outside the restaurant, shoulders drooping, head down, walking away from the restaurant. I called him, hey, wait, what happened? He turns around, looks at me, starts walking faster. I said, no, it's okay. Wait, what happened? Why did you call me the name that you did? Fellow Toastmasters and guests, that was an object lesson in cultural differences. Apparently, in parts of Europe, you don't keep your phone on. You don't do things when you are in a cafe which disturbs others. I come from a different culture where speaking on the phone is de rigueur whenever you are, wherever you are, whether you are at the dinner table or with a bunch of friends or just at a movie. And you all know how we are, whether it is us Indians or Pakistanis or anybody from South Asia. Speaking on the phone is considered a birthright. In some other cultures, speaking on the phone at the wrong time is considered an insult. Insult to the host, insult to the surroundings, etc. And I didn't know this. That man turns around and says, I am sorry. I said, your sorry is fine. You should be sorry. But why did you scream at me? What did I do wrong? Why you phone ring? Why you phone ring? I said, my phone, my data, it rang. What's your problem? You disturb all of us. I said, nobody said anything to me. They are polite, but you are not polite. So I said, but you are also not polite. Why are you yelling at me for no fault of mine? That's when the penny dropped. That gentleman didn't know English, and he in fact was actually trying to do me a favor by telling me to please switch off the ringer. And I was assuming this gentleman is being a racist. I am extremely proud to say that to this date, we exchange greetings on Christmas and New Year and whatever else. That chance encounter opened my eyes to what I thought was a racist abuse. And it changed completely to what I now know as cultural differences. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, we as individuals, especially in the post-pandemic world, we've been connecting all around the globe. As Toastmasters, even more so, because we travel to different clubs, we are members of different clubs. Look at us today. This meeting is being held in a virtual space, and there are at least 6 or 7 countries being represented here. Each of us has a different meaning to a gesture, a sound, a behavior. I'm impelled to recall this particular incident. I had first moved to the Middle East. I had gone to a mall and I wanted to know the way to the men's washroom. And I asked a gentleman, is the men's room this side? The guy went like this. For those of you that know, In India and Pakistan, when you move your head from left to right, it means no. Here, I was desperate to go to the toilet. I was hopping on one leg or the other. And this man is telling me, I will not tell you. Unfortunately, he was a Lebanese in whose culture the gesture of moving your head from left to right vigorously means, what do you want to know? He didn't know English. He only knew Arabic and he was asking me, what are you asking me? And I abused him in my mind and ran to what I thought was the toilet. And luckily, I found the place. And this was a lesson that was at the back of my mind when I was being yelled at that particular day. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the lesson. When we try to look at things from someone else's perspective, things look very different. And even what seems like a racial abuse might actually just be another way of speaking to each and every one of us. So I have understood this. Hope I've been able to communicate. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sudarshan. And now we will be moving towards our lead evaluator, who is DTM Saif Ali Sheikh. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm audible. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Zahra, and in particular Toastmaster Sudarshan. Toastmaster Sudarshan, what a wonderful speech and the thoughts, and you organize in such a way and giving a strong message. By having said this one, I'm not going to do the evaluation as a buttering to you. I'm just go on the other way around. Toastmaster Sudarshan, I was expecting that you will come up with a strong message, a strong voice, and you will fix yourself and you will set a stage that you are really in a contest. And you just took it as a casual one. Whenever you are doing any practice thing, you have to think yourself, put yourself in a way that you are really in a contest. So whenever you are going in a next speech, so make sure that the light properly there and you are standing and you have a good background contrasting to your clothes. As I said earlier, there are three parts in the contest speech: the content, the delivery, and the language one. The language I'm just going to leave toward the language evaluator, and I make certain things that your language is perfectly all right, and that is an excellent part of your speech. Coming back to the content, in your content, you have the story of the Warsaw and the story of one event at Middle East when you're talking to your Lebanese friend. And the delivery part is that I hardly see your hand gestures and the facial expression, so I can understand your sense of emotion that was totally spot. I hardly get anything from your facial expression or your hand gestures. So I suggest you, whenever, for example, when you heard the voice, "Hey, brown Indian," so some expression should be appear on your face that the way he was talking to you, he's insulting you. So your emotion should come out about it. And in between, what I have noticed about it, once again, the delivery part is a voice modulation. You have plenty of space in between a speech. You can come up with a dialogue. And you are, throughout your speech, is monotonous about it. There was plenty of space to bring the dialogue in between. By having said this one, let me talk about, let me call others one, and I will conclude my evaluation at the end of that evaluation session. And let's see the visual part from DTM Talha.
Thank you so much, lead evaluator. DTM Sudarshan. Unfortunately, most of the visual part has been covered by DTM Saif. But I will just build upon what he said especially in terms of a contest, I think this particular speech lent itself well to a stand and deliver approach. You could have stood up, and that would have removed a lot of improvement areas automatically. It would have brought more emphasis in your voice. It would have provided you with the freedom to show more gestures, and it would have actually also allowed you to showcase expression, because for some reason, again, this is my experience, yours may be different. Somehow standing up makes me also much more open and willing to share facial expressions and vocal expressions. So that is my visual suggestion to you. Your background and your lighting for me was pretty okay. Although, of course, for a contest, it will need to be substantially improved. And I would also like it if you can find a way to, because I haven't, so tell me when you do, to remove these irritating reflections from your glasses, which I am showing right now. I've tried so many things, but it really does go a long way towards, making the audience concentrate on your visual presentation. Over to you, lead event.
Thank you very much. Immediately I act upon it that I remove my glasses, and so you will not face any reflection. So let me call to the auditory, DTM Zahra.
Thank you very much, DTM Seth. I talk about the auditory, in auditory perspective. We could witness voice modulation at few stages, but while you have rise up and lower your pitch as well, but it could have been improved in a much better way. But I would like to add something which eventually will lead to the auditory path, where you could, I would say that you could utilize the stage area where you could have that dialogue when you wanted to go to the bathroom and it was on an emergency basis. So you might have, when you asked what you wanted, you would have asked the question when you were asking it to someone, and he said, like, you could even show that what you can say, where he moved his head to left to right. So that anger or agony, or you can say that you could have added such dialogues, or it can have given more of value to your speech. And apart from that, it was a very powerful opening where where we could witness the voice modulation, and where you change your voice completely, where you answered the call. So I would like to just add on to this. Over to DTM Seth.
Thank you very much, DTM Zahra. Let me call about Toastmaster Umar to say something about perceptible. How you perceive the message from DTM Sudarshan. Toastmaster Umar.
Yes, thank you, DTM Saif. And first of all, thank you, DTM Sudarshan, for that great speech. Coming to the perception part, the speech was obviously very powerful in terms of message, but I believe that the delivery of that message could have been slightly better by the use of better vocal variety, and the details of which have been mentioned by the previous evaluators. In terms of delivering the prepared speech in a way it should be in a contest, I would like to ask you before I give my evaluation, did you write the speech word by word and memorize it, or did you write parts of it, like had a story in your head and then you went on to explain it in your own words during the speech? If you can answer that, please.
I don't write any of my speeches word by word, so I just have a few bullet points and then I create the speech.
Great. So what I have noticed, and I could be wrong, that whenever I have seen the winning speeches, the flow that you feel from that speeches shows that those people have memorized each and every single word that they're going to say on stage. And of course, that requires hours and hours and maybe hundreds of hours of practice, because there were points in your pauses where I felt that this pause is not a natural pause. This pause is not planned basically from you. There was one point in the speech where you got stuck as well on a word, and that showed that the speech has not been written and prepared. In fact, you have only written lines of speech. So my suggestion would be write your full speech and prepare it hundreds of times if you want to win a contest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Omar. Let's have some comments, the valuable comments, since he is our national champion, and he's going to talk about your structural point of view. Toastmaster Khurram.
Thank you, DTM Saif. Since my part is structural, but I'll try to cover a bit more of that. So from the structural point of view, the start was very nice, and the flow of the storytelling goes very well. The point is that we were expecting much more to go on, and suddenly we realized the speech is finished. So that sudden effect of where the speech goes and what we will take out of that is a part where the structural balancing of the speech need to be reviewed. Overall language, we know that you are very good master of using a good language. So I mean, I didn't find anything from the grammatical point of view. Some other points what I would like to add here is the pauses. I feel that there are a lot of places where you can use the pauses and you can improve the speech very well. And obviously, I mean, from the context perspective, when you are using the stage while you are moving, you can, while moving, you can use the pause. So that helps you while utilizing the stage, you can, impose the pauses. Background has already talked, light has already been talked, standing has already talked. Vocal variety is one thing which already has been talked. So these are my points. But yeah, standing and using the pauses is very important. Apology for my voice.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Khurram. Let's hear from DTM Sudarshan first, and then I will say, I think I will take 1 minute more at the end.
Sure. Thank you very much, first of all, for all the feedback. Completely endorse what Toastmaster Omar said. I have not written this down. This is a speech which has been in my mind for a long time. And this is the first test run of the speech from a content perspective. So, which is why I didn't deliver it like a contest, but absolutely spot on. All the feedback that you've given is well received. I will make sure that I refine this script and deliver it a few more times before I take it out for the contest. But overall, I think the feedback that I've received today tells me two things: that the content is good, can be improved, but there are many more things that I need to put into the speech to make it actually a powerful speech. So thank you, and back to you, DTM Saif.
Thank you very much, DTM Sudarshan. And let me share one thing with all of you. Is what I'm saying now, it's not part of the evaluation, it's a part of the tip, what I learned over the period of the time. That when you decided to participate in a contest, you must have to write your speech word by word, as Toastmaster Omar said about it. If you have a speech word by word, then it is easy for you that this sentence is going to be delivered at what part of the stage and what gestures you are going to bring to make a point what you are saying about it. So if you have a speech word by word, I'm not saying to memorize it. By the period of time when you are doing the practice at the club level, area level, division level, it is automatically memorized by the practicing. And if you notice all the world champion, the same speech, you will believe in me that they deliver the same speech maybe 1,000 times. And that bring the emotions, that bring the gestures, that bring the stage moment, that bring the point of the stage, the power point of the stage. So I will suggest all the contestants to please write down the speech word by word first, and whenever you are going to deliver the speech will tell you to change this sentence and improve it. And at the end, when you are participating in a contest, that is a masterpiece, you are going to deliver it. Over to the Toastmaster of the day. Yes, you have a question. Marina?
Yes, not a question, a comment. You
Oh,
were
please.
talking about the glare on the glasses, and my understanding and what I watch out for regarding, because I wear glasses, I always put my light source to the side. So definitely not in the front and above. And if you go to a contest, you have to watch out for how you position your light source, and that will help with the glare.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mariana. And over to Toastmaster Zahra.
Thank you very much, GTM Chef. Now we will be moving towards our second speaker, who is Toastmaster Salman Ibrahim. And for his project details, I would like to call upon his lead evaluator, Toastmaster Khurram. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Mr. Salman Ibrahim is going to deliver his icebreaker from the path of the strategic relationship. The purpose of the speech is to member to introduce himself to the club and learn the basic structure of the speech. Toastmaster Salman Ibrahim, last obstacle, Toastmaster Salman Ibrahim.
Excuse me, sorry, Toastmaster Khurram, can you also please introduce the modular evaluation team? Actually, DTM Sudarshan has to leave, so we'll have to replace one modular evaluator. Perhaps I can request Toastmaster Imran Rana to comment on the structure of the speech. For the rest of the modular evaluation, all the evaluators are there. So yes, over to you, Toastmaster.
Okay, so for the structure, it will be Toastmaster Imran Rana.
Yes.
Okay.
No,
So
no,
for
no,
the
I
visual,
cannot do. I'm in the middle of leaving the. I'm going for office, so I cannot do.
so I think
Okay.
Master Mariana raised the hand, so she can do that. Okay.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah, thanks, Toastmaster Mariana. So I have the visual with Toastmaster Zahra Ibrahim, auditory Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid, perceptible is Toastmaster Mubina Rauf, and structure is Toastmaster Mariana. Over to you, Salman Ibrahim.
Thank you very much, dear Toastmaster Khurram Saeed, my fellow Toastmasters, and other esteemed guests. I'm honored to be giving my icebreaker speech here today on October 22nd in front of this dignified audience. A few days ago, I was baffled by a YouTube video, or more like shorts, 10 seconds perhaps, of a frog. I probably watched that video 10 to 15 times in a row. You must be wondering how I ended up there. Well, it was the usual route, just like the rest of us. I started with a lecture on risk and decision analysis, listening very diligently to the esteemed professor, and 20 minutes and 10 other videos down the road, there I was watching a behavioral experiment being conducted on a poor little frog on repeat. Something really struck me hard that day. But this defines basically the leisure hours for me, Salman Ibrahim, an investment banker currently residing in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, for the past 11 years. Before I bore you to sleep with more of my personal toot horn, let me tell you something about that poor little chap, the frog, who has haunted me ever since I watched that video. A creature that can swim in water, jump around a pond with zero care in the world, land on its feet anywhere it wants, making our ears bleed with its persistent riveting. Imagine that fearless Viking being confined in a circle, drawn with nothing else but a normal chalk, with no other barriers, no other guardrails, no other protective measures to hold it back from changing its place. Didn't matter how much it was poked, it just sat there inside the circle perimeter that was there, holding it back. Apparently, even the ability to become airborne was somehow paralyzed. The ability to assess the real situation on ground, to pragmatically quantify the magnitude of constraints around it, had just stopped functioning. This shows the power that our own thoughts have on our ability to achieve something or to create something out of literally nothing. Going back to my profile, and honestly, I'm not trying to impress anyone here, and it is very important that I set the context for all this discussion. I have been awarded multiple scholarships. I am specialized in software engineering, finance, and strategy from leading universities, including Harvard Business School and Oxford University. I have been helping others grow their wealth using my expertise and financial engineering related creativity. Just this month, I am closing a multi-billion real deal for my employer. Last month, I led the buyout of another company, single-handedly structuring the purchase price to be lowered or reduced by millions of dollars. I am correct in a much larger proportion of my macroeconomic outlook and forecasts. Yet, I am still an employee, a salary awaiting employee. Please don't get me wrong here. This is by no means trying to belittle the honorable work that is done by us, the professionals, as employees working for others. It's all good and honest work, just like the way it was with the frog, comfortably sitting in that circle. For me, that perception of a circle, the fear of unknown, is my last obstacle. Before I break my shackles, before I become airborne, before I become free. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Salman Ibrahim. Let me go straight to the evaluation. It was a great speech. We usually need to say that one in the beginning, so don't take it very seriously. Okay, so see from the start where you have done the start, it doesn't seem that you are not a Toastmaster. It doesn't seem that it is your first speech. It seems that it's a very professional speech. You started with a great structure. You create the interest of the YouTube story, and you say that, okay, I mean, I was doing this and that, and I was watching that. So it create an interest with the audience to say what's next. So that's important. You shuffle between that story and your personal information. That was great, and you ended up with what is your last obstacle. So that's overall, it looks good. Coming toward a few of the points where I believe that there's opportunity of improvement. Let's start. First of all, I mean, we are really not getting bored with your personal information, because icebreaker means to know you well. So we need to, we are very keen to know if you want to share which university you went. We keen to know that you are married or no, you have a kids or no, what you like to do, what are your hobbies, so that's what the icebreaker is all about. So we know the Toastmaster as a family member. So that's one part that can be improved. Now coming toward the some of the visuals and other areas, it's very, give a very less room for the evaluation, and then a very less chance for you for the improvement opportunities. If now I'm speaking like this, and you cannot see, my hands and, my body language, right? Like, so if you are standing and you are delivering your speech, we can see that what are the areas you can work for your next speech, right? So please try to stand, at least half of your body is visible. We can see how you move, how you use your hands, how you use your facial expressions, you make your voice up or down, those kind of things. Background looks fine, it's white, your shirt looks one solid color. It Generally speaking, as you know, it's not a must, but it's if you're putting a bit more of a formal shirt, that looks much better rather than the casual one. But I mean, these are again depending on all the whereabouts. Important thing, which is quite an important thing, I would say, for any speech, is also you need to think that uh, that's your last obstacle, but eventually what you want to achieve. Now you join Toastmasters, right? So what are the 1, 2, or 3 points what you want to achieve out of the Toastmaster? So that's quite helpful for the mentors program to understand where you want to achieve, what you want to achieve. From your next speeches, you can focus on those particular things, that why you are here. Okay. And lastly, while you are sitting, even if you are sitting, try to sit forward and active. So if you are sitting like that, okay, so it looks like you're very relaxed and you're just casually talking, right? So that's few points I will like to call upon my team of uh, the evaluators, who will give you 1 minute of each areas of speech. So for the visuals, I would like to call Toastmasters Zara Ibrahim.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Khurram. Actually, you have covered it all. Being a visual, I would say, evaluator, I would like to highlight upon your, even if you're sitting and delivering a speech. So, like if you can see DTM Sad, how the way he is sitting, so you're, there's a lot of space above your head, the way you are sitting, and even if you could, we can just like DTM Talai is sitting, you can just see the other examples. So could just see your head like from here. And as Toastmaster Khurram mentioned, if you could wear a formal shirt, or you could be a little firm when it comes to delivering a speech. But as we all know, it was your icebreaker speech, and the way you delivered it, it was mind blowing. It was very I would say the way you delivered it was very nice. But apart from that, if you could have delivering this speech in a standing position, it would have added more value to your speech. We could also see your hand gestures, your body movement, and it could add more value to your speech. And this is what, as you mentioned about the frog, so if it was jumping, so you could added hand gesture to it or something like that. So over to the lead evaluator, Toastmaster Khurram.
Toastmaster Zara Ibrahim, thanks you for the visuals. For the auditory, I will like to call upon DTM Talha bin Hamid.
Thank you so much, lead evaluator. First of all, Toastmaster Salman Ibrahim, as far as the auditory aspects are concerned, your flow is absolutely impressive. It is almost musical, lyrical, and very few people are blessed with that. So you should use more and more of that in your speeches. You have that gift of having a flow like a rivulet in a forest. So yeah, beautiful. That said, and your voice is also very soothing. We can hear each and every word very distinctly. These are your assets and you should use them more. Little bit vocal variety would have been welcome, although this is your icebreaker, so there's not much expectation of that. In fact, the icebreaker is designed so that you deliver your speech your way, you present yourself your way, and then you build upon it. So I won't object too much to that, because I believe that the way that the story that you told in your speech, was naturally very well matched with the vocal style that you adopted, but a little bit of vocal variety would have been welcome. And similarly, voice modulation, there need to be some point where you raise and lower your voice so that it becomes more like a speech, less like a talk. So that is the auditory feedback, but overall, the areas of strength that you have are exceptional. Not everyone is blessed with them. So please make use of them in the future. Looking forward to your future speeches. Over to you, Nirva.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tala, for the excellent evaluation. Moving to perceptibles for Toastmaster Mubina Rauf.
Good morning once again. Thank you, lead evaluator, for this opportunity, and Toastmaster Salman Ibrahim. Firstly, congratulations. I would say that you are a born speaker, and you will learn the tricks of this Toastmasters trade, I think, quite quickly. Regarding your expressions, beautiful words, I will give my report when as a language evaluator later, but your language was absolutely awesome. And just regarding gestures, I could only see your face. So your calm facial expressions suited very well to the content of your speech. But this could be, had you, like our lead evaluator said, that an icebreaker is something in which we expect to get familiar with our new members. And if you had added maybe something more, maybe about your family or about your friends or your likes and dislikes, you could have had, different kind of gestures on the face, like when talking about your family. Yes, that's about it. And once again, congratulations. I really, really enjoyed your speech, and it connected so well to being an employee myself. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mubina. Moving to the structural part of speech to Toastmaster Mariana.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And congratulations, Salman, for your icebreaker. And I have to tell you, the delicious caramel crunch layered cake came to my mind because you layered your story, layer by layer. You started your story with a story. And then you went to your personal experience. And then you went back to the frog's miserable life. And then you went back to human experience. And then you were talking about your life. And at the end, the bottom layer or the top, depending which side we are looking at, you compared your life to the frog in a way. I like you layering. My suggestion would be for you is that when you were talking about your life story, that was way too long. I was beginning to feel disconnected from the beginning of the first part of the speech because your life story was too long. But I suggest I would put somewhere in your life story one more frog layer just to break it up so we can see more connections and then finish it up that, hey, our life is so similar. We are just frogs in a pond. So something like that. So that's my suggestion, but excellent icebreaker. You will go fast and far in Toastmaster living.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mariana. Now we'll give 1 minute to the speaker for the feedback. Over to Toastmaster Salman Ibrahim.
Well, thank you very much to all of you for your very kind and open feedback. Obviously, I am here to improve my ability to convey the message that I have been or I am going to be asked to deliver in future as well. Much appreciated, but I would like to apologize about a couple of things. One is about my posture. Unfortunately, I had a medical issue on Thursday, which kind of put me in a position where I cannot stand around and sort of or sit more like forward in a more forward way. But definitely, inshallah, that will be changed in future. About my attire, I completely agree, and that's a very, very useful feedback as well. And about the structuring of the speech regarding the use of vocal tone, thank you very much. I just cannot thank you enough for this very, very useful feedback, all of you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Salman Ibrahim. Just before handing over to Toastmaster of the day, first of all, thank you very much to deliver the speech, even with the medical condition. And lastly, in the Toastmaster, you don't need to apologize for anything. We all are learner here. We all learn by doing. So it's a continuous journey. So welcome to the part of the family. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Zara Ibrahim.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Gaurav, and even apologies from my end as well, because we are not aware of it. So about your medical condition. So how about we move to our next segment, which is table topics session, and it will be held by DTM Talha bin Hamid. But before that, I would like to highlight one thing more, because being a Toastmaster of the day, I completely forgot about the session, which is the Geek of the Week. So he was about to, conduct that session. So if we have time, or if DTM Tala want to, start off with that, so it will be great. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Sorry, Toastmaster Dara, you spoke about Geek of the Week, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Followed by table topic session.
We'll get to that after the table topics. So we are 3 or 4 minutes behind schedule, but we will go through it quickly. So today we are all about pursuit of wellness. And sometimes in pursuit of wellness, we have to make some tough choices, because there comes a point where you have to choose your own health and well-being and your vigorous existence over your care and your service to other people. And yes, it's always a tough choice. But remember one thing, and I always find much inspiration whenever they make an announcement when an airplane is about to take off, that if the oxygen reduces, the mask will fall, and you should put on the mask before helping others. For the simple reason that you will only be able to help others if you live. So today, our table topics are all about such tough choices. And since Toastmaster Umar Shahid is inordinately excited about table topics, we'll give him the first table topic. Toastmaster Umar, can you turn on your screen?
Yes, Toastmaster Talha.
Yes. All right. Your topic is some people, even people who we love or who love us back, they can be very toxic. So for our own wellness, should we put up with them or should we distance from toxic people?
Okay. So good morning, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, depending on which part of the world you are. It's a very interesting topic given by DTM Talha, that we all have toxic people in our life, one way or the other. But should we keep them in our lives or should we distance ourselves from them? Now, I would say that that depends really on the relationship that you have with that person. So some relationships you really cannot run away from. Now, imagine you have a, let's say, God forbid, one of your parents is very toxic in their behavior. Can you really run away from them? I don't think so. It's not really possible to run away from your parents. What about one of your kids? Can you run away and shun your kids completely? No, you cannot. So for such relationships, I would say that there are tips and tricks that you can learn. You can take professional help and get them professional help to help them overcome that specific part of their behavior. And remember, every person has goodness inside of them, right? Even the most toxic person on earth will always have goodness inside of them. So what we really need to do is bring out that goodness inside of those people and try to push down that toxic trait of theirs by getting them help and trying ourselves to help them as well. Secondly, if those people are such people that really do not make an impact on your life, let's say a colleague in your workplace, right, that you just have to interact with once a week. Now, if that is a toxic person who just ruins your whole week because of you meeting him one day, then I would say try to avoid him as much as possible. Only limit your conversations to the extremely important part, that is professional part that you need to do. There's no way around it. Other than that, avoid any sort of personal interaction with them. And same is the case with any other toxic people which are not your close relatives. So to sum it up, toxic people, you can find them anywhere in your life. If it's a relationship that you cannot let go of, try to get them help. But if it's a relationship that you think is damaging you more than that, you keeping that relationship, then I would say take a step back and tell them, Ma salama, bye-bye. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Umar. So yeah, thank you for agreeing with me that, you should wear the mask first before helping others. You cannot help each and every person around. Trust me, I've tried. And it only makes you land into much more misery than you bargained for. So you should pick your battles. So we have a couple of guests. Can we have Varatha Ananthan? Are you there?
Yes, please.
All right. Lovely to have you, Toastmaster Varatha. Your topic is delicious food or healthy food. Which is your pick? Delicious food or healthy food? And word of the day is vigorous, by the way.
Greetings to you all. Being a foodie, well, you know what my pick is. But the food is not the whole life. So delicious food or healthy food, it's not every time I'm going to try this delicious food, especially I just had my ice cream. But the thing is, I'm aware of it. When I'm having a delicious food with lots of garnish with all cheese and have so much of ghee and all, then I know it's okay Varatha today once or twice, maybe once or twice, not once or twice in a week, but not every single day loaded with that much cheese and that. But still, yes, if I have a chance, if the plate is so tempting, then I cannot resist. Definitely, I'll go for delicious food. But I'm health conscious. I won't say I'm following that diet, this diet, no, nothing at all. But I believe in doing everything in that right quantity that keeps you healthy and wealthy. I am a firm believer. I don't stop eating anything. I eat anything and everything that tempts me, that make my mouth waters. At the same time, that doesn't mean I'll be indulging in every single time those delicious food. Not all the delicious food are not healthy, because sometimes people think if it is delicious food, it's not healthy. Certainly no. There are some delicious food, they are healthy. If I can prepare that delicious and healthy food, yes, I'll be happy. But I don't love to cook, so I have no other choice but to cook. So when it comes to delicious or healthy food, I will opt for delicious food. At the same time, I can guarantee you there are so many delicious food, they are healthy. So yes, for me, it's delicious food. Back to you, TT Master.
Thank you so much for giving us that insight. And I believe that of all the people, Toastmaster Marianne is over the moon after hearing your table topic because it tied so beautifully into what she taught us. So thank you so much for that. Next we have, do we have Toastmaster Laiba? Are you ready for a table topics?
Yes, born ready.
Toastmaster Laiba, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me? I'm audible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, yes. Can you please turn on your video if possible?
Apologies for that because at the moment I'm not wearing my hijab, so sorry for that.
All right, no worries at all. So your topic is, Toastmaster Laiba,
Yes.
a sensational, spicy Pakistani or Indian soap versus a critically acclaimed movie that no one has really seen, but everybody praises. Which is your pick? A spicy, sensational Pakistani soap versus a critically acclaimed movie that nobody really likes to see. Word of the day is vigorous.
Okay, thank you so much, DTM Talha, for giving me a challenging topic because I'm the person who does not like to watch the movies at all. But when I was when I was in grade 5, I read the novel Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. At that time, I was 11 to 12 years old, and now, Alhamdulillah, I'm a grown-up child. But still, I love the movie and the novel Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. First, I read the novel. I found that novel so interesting that after reading that novel, I watched the movie known as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. In that movie, Johnny Depp, he played the role of Mr. Willy Wonka. And it's such an amazing and interesting story about the Mr. Willy Wonka and how he was finding the inheritance so that he can name the or he can uh, find someone who can run the chocolate factory after his death. So I suggest you all please watch the movie Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Although it's so childish, but I believe that you all will find so interesting and funny as well. One thing I love about the movie is the chocolate room, the world of chocolate, that how they created the world of chocolate, the chocolate swimming pool, Oompa Loompas, the employees of Mr. Willy Wonka. I love the way that how they created the fantasy of the chocolate. And if you are a chocolate lover, you are absolutely going to love that movie. So yeah, I will suggest you to watch the movie Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And there is a movie recently released that is Mola Jet. I don't know, everyone is very crazy when it comes to Mola Jet. I don't know why, but it depends on the taste of the people. So I'm that kind of person who is always interested to watch the travel vlogs. I took my Nas Daily as my inspiration because he is a person who is telling the who is always focusing on the positive aspects of the country. He is always the one who is talking about the positivity and loving others. So my message is to love others and to watch Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Over to Table Topic Master, DTM Talha.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Laiba. And just like food, there can be some movies which are critically acclaimed and also fun to watch. And the main chief amongst them is, yes, in defiance of Martin Scorsese. I don't care what you think, but Marvel's movies are mostly those movies. So it's not a crime to enjoy yourself. It's not a crime to try to entertain people. And it doesn't have to be automatically assumed that anything popular is not worth serious consideration. So with that, our table topics come to an end, and we'll quickly move on to journal evaluation because we are 3 or 4 minutes behind time. So Mr. Timer, did all the speakers qualify? muted, I believe. We can't hear you, Saad.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Perfect. So all of the speakers are qualified and the polls are ready. Just launch them.
All right. All right. So please vote the remaining polls while we move to journal evaluation. While I hand over the charge back to Toastmaster of the day. Over to you, Toastmasters.
Right. Thank you very much, DTM Tala. Now we will be moving to our general evaluation session. So we have Toastmaster Umar Shahid being an general evaluator. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Toastmaster Zahra, Toastmaster of the day. Now coming to the general evaluator. Comments starting from the meeting time, we started exactly on time, so that's a good thing that we're keeping track of our time. The president took the guest introductions. That is also a tick box for that. The Toastmaster of the day introduced the theme of the day very well, and then handed over to our keynote speaker. One thing that the Toastmaster of the day did incorrectly was read the speech title of the keynote speech. He read it as should you or shouldn't you, whereas the keynote title was should we or shouldn't we. So that is one thing. Toastmaster Mariana threw some hardcore fasting facts, convincing us all that we need to eat less and fast more. Toastmaster, there's just one point which I'm sure the grammarian will cover it, but if he does not, I'll come back to it later on. Toastmaster Sudarshan gave a great speech, but of course, since he wanted to be evaluated as a contest speaker, DTM Saif, his lead evaluator, and most of the evaluators showed no mercy. But this is why we're here, to learn from our shortcomings and improve ourselves so that when we go out on the stage in front of the whole world, we're much better prepared. Toastmaster Salman delivered a speech which didn't really feel like an icebreaker, to be honest. So kudos to you for that. Normally, people compare themselves with princes, but I was shocked and amazed at the same time that his story writing technique is so powerful that he compared his condition to that of a frog and still managed to impress us all. So amazing story writing skills. Then again, Toastmaster Talha, DTM Talha did a great job with the table topics and tried to relate them with the theme of the day as well. And lastly, I would like to, there's no further comments from that. I think everyone did a great job. All of the evaluators, especially, I like the new format of the evaluation that we're following now, where we have a lead evaluator and we're specifically focusing on each and every section of the speech, starting from structure, auditory, visual, perception. So let's keep it up, and back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Actually, you have to call upon the
yeah, sorry, since being correct. Since I'm the GE, I would call the language evaluator as well, which is none other than our experienced Toastmaster Mubina Rauf.
Thank you, General Evaluator, for calling me again for my report. The word of the day today was vigorous, used by two people, DTM Talha, who never misses the word of the day, and Toastmaster Viratha. If I have missed anyone, I'm sorry for that. Starting with the keynote, starting with the Toastmaster of the day's opening session, excellent, layers that she mentioned of wellness, especially the spiritual wellness, which is very important for us. And then coming to the keynote, it was an eye-opener, as everybody is saying. A few things that I liked, which I've noted, your body starts thanking you for doing this. It is something, it is more of a prevention than a diet plan. And we are totally convinced, Toastmaster Mariana. Now, coming to prepared speeches. Before that, I have noted a few things that I would like to highlight. We are all Toastmasters, whether we are young or old or DTMs or Toastmasters only. We come here to learn. It's an equal opportunity community. So I know it's a mark of respect, but I think we should avoid using the title Sir for Toastmasters. We can call them like DTM or Toastmaster. And another thing, by having said that, it should be only having said that. And it's not a brown Indian, it's a brown Indian. Pronounce it like not a. Now, coming to the speeches. First speech by DTM Sudarshan, an excellent speech. But the phrases and sentences that I noted are, screams what sounds like a racial slur, shook me to the core of my being, livid but afraid, and something told me don't react. Speaking on the phone for us is considered a birthright, not racism, but cultural differences. Someone else's perspective is different, but we cannot tolerate it. And now Toastmaster Salman Ibrahim, baffled by a video of a frog, which has haunted me till today. The frog is a fearless Viking for him, pragmatically quantified. The power of our thoughts have on our ability to do something. Yet I am still a salary awaiting employee. The fear of the unknown is my last obstacle. Mine too, Toastmaster Salman Ibrahim. Yes, and one thing that I like, what Toastmaster Varatha said, quality of food that keeps you healthy and worthy. This is deep. You must think about it. It I think sums up the theme of our meeting. So back to you, Mr. General Manager.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mubina, for that very detailed evaluation report for the language. I would just like to add one point which I noticed, which you missed. Toastmaster Mariana, you said during your speech, some agrees and some disagrees. It should be some agree and some disagree. This was one thing which I noted. You could improve that. And as Toastmaster Mubina said that there's two types of sounds for the A. So the rule is that whenever you have a vowel sound followed by A, you always say the long sound, which is A. So like A university, even though, a university, even though university is written by a U, but since the sound is of Y, we will say a university. And similarly, we will say an umbrella, because an umbrella is also starting with a U, but it actually has the sound of U as well, instead of saying umbrella. So this is a small thing that you can remember. Whenever there's a vowel sound, then you say A. And whenever there's a consonant sound, then you say that said, I would like to hand the stage. I don't think we have any other role players for today, correct? DTM Talha? In the agenda, there's no other thing. So we're not going for the counter or anything else like this.
No, we just have a timer support, but I think if
that is
would
done,
like to highlight something specifically.
Yeah. Timer,
Otherwise,
do you have any other comments to add besides what you already told us? Any disqualification that no?
No, I believe all of the speakers and all of the evaluators were on time, so it's all okay from my side. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So that said, coming to this the point of clothing, I am very glad that DTM Talha did not ask me, or one of the other speakers who were pointing out the clothing did not ask me to why I'm wearing a shirt as well, because this is again a weekend, and I do agree that we need to be more professionally dressed for such meetings. So and I'm just glad that you don't know the color of my pajamas, because we are only in an online meeting. So that said, that's all from me, from the general evaluator. If there's anything else that I missed, you guys are all free to add that in the comment section. And back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much. I don't think there's a single aspect left to be, said now. And without further ado, I would like to hand over this charge to our president. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Zara. Fellow Toastmaster and guests, did you enjoy the meeting today? Oh, yes, it was a wonderful meeting. After a long time, we have it. Maybe I have a little longer break, so I don't know in the previous one. So it was a great meeting and we learned a lot. And especially I am thankful to our keynote speaker. And I will vigorously going to do the fasting time to time, not continuously. And our speaker today is a keynote speech. We have to must understand the cultural differences whenever we are traveling from one part to another part. And I love having a Salman Ibrahim to having his second project. It was a wonderful ice breaking. I wish I can again do my ice breaking and quantum leap sometime in future. So let's see about it. And it was a good table topic by attempting by the Toastmaster where she left already, and Toastmaster Laiba also. I really love to have the chocolate, but not like you love the chocolate. And fellow Toastmaster, let's have a guest comments. We have Toastmaster Laiba. Would you like to say something?
Yes, of course. What I love about the meeting is the diversity. I was very happy to see DTM Barham all the way from Canada, and my Indian friends all the way from India and Middle East. So what I love about the in-depth evaluation of the prepared speakers and the diversity. That's all from my side.
Thank you very much. Let's have a healthy food and delicious food. Let's hear from Varatha, please. And happy Diwali to you first.
Thank you. Well, it's actually, I'm from District 105, but now we have relocated back to Australia. So, so my time here is now 6:05 p.m. I'm a Toastmaster in, as I said, in Dubai for about nearly 6 years, and almost inching towards my DTM before the end of this year. So I'm getting your invites. I can't remember when was that. Some time back I had registered and I had all your details, but some more other being a holiday, being a Sunday, and we have something else coming up. Glad that I had joined because I love the evaluation. Brilliant. Brilliant is not it's a small word to say. I really enjoyed it. That's the way we want the speaker want the evaluation. So keep it up. Kudos to you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's have a 30-second for Toastmaster Mariana, please.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me, and it was a pleasure to be here and that you allowed me to speak. It was a great experience for me, and I always enjoy your meeting. This was my 3rd or 4th time here, and I would come back more often if it wasn't in the middle of the night. So until you change your timing, I will come time to time, and thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mariana, and looking forward to see you again. And fellow Toastmaster, do we have a business? Any business?
So there's one business announcing the winners for today.
Oh, please, sir. Go ahead.
So for the best speaker, again, we have a tie between the two speakers, and I do not find the strength in my heart to break that tie, so I will not. And both speakers were today spectacular, and especially Toastmaster Salman Ibrahim, your icebreaker was absolutely inspiring. And yes, there were quite a few improvement areas, but I think there can be no doubt that the content of your speech and the style that you delivered it in was spectacular. So thank you. We are honored to have you in our club. And for those who don't know, Toastmaster Salman is, I won't detail too much, but he is an expert in the fields of finance, in science, as well as in marketing. He has all those qualifications. And as he speaks more, we will learn about how one person can accomplish so much in one life. But it is inspiring. And in addition, he also happens to be a memorizer of the Holy Quran. So really shouldn't surprise anyone by now that how did he deliver such an icebreaker. So thank you so much. Next, we have our favorite table topic speaker, and that is Toastmaster Laiba Gayas. Congratulations. Best Big Three by a single vote goes to me, unfortunately, as table topics master. So, and best evaluator goes to DTM Saif and Sheikh. And finally, best round robin evaluator by a wide margin goes to a person who managed to inspire us all in just 1 minute, and that is Toastmaster Umar Shahid. So congratulations. Over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster DTM Talha. And fellow Toastmasters, since we exceeded too much time today, and I'm the one who is responsible because I can't intervene in between. Otherwise, many people knows me that I'm just cutting the throat in between. So I don't know why I was sleeping today. By having said this one, I'm the responsible for exceeding the meeting time today. And the next time, make sure that we'll have the start on time and end on time. By this, I adjourn meeting official.
Thank you so much, sir. I will defer. You are not responsible at all. Actually, it is the duty of the timer and the TMOD. They can intervene in between. There was slight mix-up in the agenda. Actually, the source of us being late was the time for the keynote, which is my responsibility, actually. I should have kept it to 22 minutes rather than 15 minutes. And that's roughly the amount by which we are late. So, yes, I will take care in the future. Also, there was one more factor. We had an evaluation for the keynote, which added another 3 minutes. So those are the two deviations versus our usual time. Otherwise, we end exactly at time. So yes, sir, I differ with you. I take responsibility myself. You're not responsible at all. So
we are all responsible about exceeding the time, not only the leaders of the club individually, but all collectively we are responsible to manage the time, regardless of what is our position and what our role during the meeting. By having said this one, meeting is already adjourned officially, and if we have anything to be discussed, we can discuss. Otherwise, I will say goodbye, having a good day ahead of you now. Even the marina having about 3 o'clock in the morning, and our part is about 12 o'clock. Some might have a lunch time. For me, is still having a breakfast time. I'm going to take the breakfast. And if you want to join me, please come and join me. Thank you very much. Have a long and lovely day.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. President. Salman, your thoughts after breaking the ice today. Would love to hear them.
Well,
if you have time.
Yeah, I mean, I would just be brief. It was an amazing experience hearing all your thoughts, and the feedback was very, very helpful. And I hope to take that forward and reflect that in my future interactions and in future speeches as well. Thank you very much for the warmest welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Salman. And once again, sincerely appreciated that you managed to go ahead with your icebreaker despite the problems that you had. And, you know, it is strange that you show all the symptoms of being a consummate Toastmaster, even during your first meeting, because only true Toastmasters go ahead with their speeches no matter what. And, you know, our target is always just to get it done, even if we are less than fit. And also, you showed a very good grasp of the project. I know 4 to 6 minutes is not enough to actually cram all of the stuff that you want to. But one of the objectives is to show the people who you are. And that does not necessarily have to include details about your family or childhood, although that is desired. But you did manage to convey who you are in 4 to 6 minutes. And I'm so glad personally, and sure Toastmasters program will agree. Usually in advanced clubs, we don't have that many first-time Toastmasters. We usually have experienced Toastmasters. But with you, we are confident that mashallah, an advanced club is the right club for you. So congratulations once again on that. You would not know it perhaps, but there are most of the clubs are conventional clubs which do not have this style of evaluation. So absolutely fantastic to have you. And of course, Toastmaster Umar Shahid, spectacular job. Also, you do everything so well, and that is an inspiration. So thank you so much, both.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
All right. Thank you so much. And goodbye, everyone. See you, inshallah, 2 weeks' time. Allah Hafiz.